Today, we are going to study the prayer poem, Where the Mind is Without Fear, written by Rabindranath Tagore. Before starting the poem, we will study a warming-up section. Match the terms with their given meanings. Humanism. A rationalistic outlook towards humans rather than a divine or supernatural one. Patriotism. Quality of being patriotic, vigorous support for one's country. Internationalism. State or process of being international. Liberalism. Holding liberal views. Environmentalism. Concern about and action aimed at protecting the environment. Write the type of poem against its description. A long story poem, often mythical. It is called epic. A short story poem with a message. It is called ballad. A poem of 14 lines. It is called sonnet. A song-like poem. It is called lyric. A poem written just to create humor. It is called humorous poem. A poem with no uniformity of rhyme, rhythm. It is called free verse. A poem set in picturesque, rustic background. It is called idyll. A sad poem, lamenting death of a loved one. It is called elegy. A 5 lines short funny poem with rhyme which has a BB scheme. It is called limerick. Where the Mind is Without Fear. Composed by Rabindranath Tagore. About the poem. This poem is one of his famous and discussed poem. It was originally composed in Bengali and later he himself translated it into English. This poem is from his Nobel Prize winning anthology, Gitanjali. The original poem is prarthana, which means prayer. The poem is a free verse. It has no rhyme. It has one single complex sentence with subordinate clause beginning with where and main clause is at the end of the sentence. Friends, let's listen the poem. Then we will discuss the poem in simple language.
Minds Without Fear by Rabindranath Tagore. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake.
Where the Mind is Without Fear. Written by Rabindranath Tagore. In this poem, the poet is praying to God to grant his country such freedom of thoughts and expressions, freedom from the chains of superstitions, and bondage of social evils, which leads towards perfection. He appeals that his countrymen should live fearlessly, and with self-respect. The country should be a place where knowledge is available to everyone equally without any discrimination, on the basis of caste, gender or religion. He wants a nation where people are truthful and sincere. The poet prays to God that his people should be logical and progressive in thoughts and actions. It should be a nation where blind superstitious habits of thought and action have not put out the light of reason. He requests to the Almighty God to let his country wake up to the heaven of freedom. Marginal questions. What does the poet pray to the Almighty for? The poet wishes to the Almighty to awaken his countrymen into a heaven of freedom, where they are truly free while respecting others. What are reason and dead habit compared to? Reason is compared to a clear stream, and dead habit is compared to the dreary desert sand. What does the poet wish for? The poet wishes that his countrymen should waken into a heaven of freedom. Workshop. Write down the lines from the poem as a proof for the following. Tagore wishes for a nation where people are truthful, where words come out from the depth of truth. The poet would like everyone to work hard to reach their goal, and in the long run to reach perfection, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection. The poet wishes that he, very own in his country, holds his head high in dignity, where the mind is without fear, and the head is held high. The poet dreams of a nation where knowledge should be free to all, where knowledge is free. The poem is a prayer into that heaven of freedom. My Father, let my country awake. Read the columns carefully and match the expressions with their meanings. Answer the following questions in your own words. How is the world broken into fragments? The world is broken into fragments on the basis of religion, caste, race, color in societies. Explain what tireless striving should be for. Tireless striving should be for achieving goals with perfections, where come out from the depth of truth. Explain in your own words. It means when people speak truthfully and with complete sincerity of heart. Who is thee in the poem? What does the poet appeal to thee to do? Thee in the poem is God. The poet appealed to thee to awaken his country into a heaven of freedom. What qualities does the poet wish to inculcate in his countrymen? The poet wishes to inculcate qualities in his countrymen like truthfulness, dignity, wisdom, broad-mindedness, clear thinking, hard work. Response and justify. Is the poem a prayer for India alone? The poem is a prayer for India alone, but it can be applicable to countries all over the world. What should the words we speak reflect? The words we speak should reflect our sincerity and honesty. What should people keep on widening? How can it be done? People should keep on widening their attitude and outlook. It can be done by giving up prejudices and hatred and through education. From what darkness of night should our nation awaken? Our nation should awaken from the darkness of night of prejudices, hatred, harmful traditions, untruthfulness and lack of self-respect. What attributes of Rabindranath Tagore does the poem, Prayer, reflect? The poem, Prayer, reflects Rabindranath Tagore's patriotism and love for his country. It also shows his clear thinking, broad outlook and his emphasis on hard work. What effect does the repetition of the word "where" at the beginning of each line The repetition of the word where at the beginning of each line gives a rhythmic effect to the poem. Complete the following table. So friends, we have studied the poem Where the Mind is Without Fear, written by Rabindranath Tagore. Hope you enjoyed it.